Hogan here, VIP Boxing, down at Shinny's Gym in Stockport, where I'm going to chat to Rhys Woods. Rhys, seems like ages, mate.
It does actually. I can't remember the last time I spoke to you.
Well, I spoke to you before the Moorcroft fight. That was back in March, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's good. What's that, 8 months?
Yeah, something like that, mate.
It's 9.
It feels like a long time, mate. It does.
It is.
But all things have changed, mate. All things have changed. Because, first of all, you're moving down in weight. You're going down to welterweight.
We're going to go down to welterweight.
And we've got you... you seem to bypass those learning fights that you get as a professional fighter. Because you jumped in the deep end. Because it's been hard for you to sell tickets.
Yeah.
You've had to take gambles. And you've done it on numerous occasions now. You fought in not necessarily in the home corner, but you fought VIP fighters against other VIP fighters.
Yes. Yeah.
So you've been sometimes in the away corner, sometimes in the home corner. But you've done it because you needed to get that experience. And sometimes it's paid off, sometimes it's not paid off. But I think you've learned from each one of them, haven't you?
Absolutely, mate. I mean, that's that saying in boxing is if you either lose, or you don't lose, you learn.
Yes.
So you win or you learn. That's the old saying anyway. But yeah, absolutely, we've learned loads since we've started. Because like you said, lack of amateur experience.
6 fights.
Yeah, it's nothing really, is it?
It's crazy, mate. It's crazy.
Decided to turn over because of lockdown. Otherwise, we'd have stayed amateur, for a couple of years. So we decided to turn over, and then we have just been learning on the go. It's been like an apprenticeship.
Well, hang on. Let's talk about that first. As an amateur, you were light heavyweight.
I was a big lad. When I first turned up here, I used to lift a lot of weights and go to the gym, and I was 91 kilo. And I got down to 81, which is top end of light heavy in the amateurs, and then I'm going to go down to 67, believe it or not.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. But listen, this is. You've got Paul Scaife, who I think is 53 fights in, and not a brilliant record or anything. But this is one of those fights that you should have had early on in your career.
Yeah.
But what you lack in amateur experience, you've now gained in professional experience, because this is going to be your 12th fight. And really, in your 12th fight, you shouldn't be fighting someone like this.
No.
But for you, because you're moving down in weight, you want to find out whether you can perform at your new weight. So a perfect fight for you on the Jolly Boys.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's our last roll of the dice, really, because we're going to go down from super welter to welter. And if it doesn't work out, where do we go from there then? Because we lost our last 2 fights, so if this doesn't work out, where do we go? So it's got to work out. It's got to work out.
Does that make you a dangerous man then?
Absolutely, yeah. This guy hasn't been stopped a lot. He doesn't get stopped, really.
No, I think in his 50 losses,
6
times, I think in his 50 losses.
He doesn't get stopped a lot, so he's a durable man. But yeah, we've got to go out there. Because I've proven that I can bang up at super welter, so go down to welterweight, and I believe I'll get the stoppage, make a statement, and we push on for bigger things in 2025.
And you'd like if everything goes perfect on the 22nd on the Jolly Boys at the Hideout in Farnworth, which is this Sunday. If everything goes well in there, going into the new year, would you like another 6-rounder at this weight against one of the usual suspects?
Yeah, absolutely.
See whether you can perform over the longer distance, and if so, you'd like to jump straight back in that title level, because you've already fought for the area title once before, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I come up short. So yeah, we're going to get this fight out of the way, and we're going to early next year, February, March, get another 6-rounder, like you say, against another tough, durable journeyman, just so I know I can go with them 6 rounds and perform it well at a good pace. Yep. And then central area title.
This, you're not going to get the luxury of a day before weighing, so you're going to have to weigh in on the day at 10.5 stone.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
So that's crazy from where you come from, like we mentioned before. But hopefully, if you get a 6-rounder, we'll hopefully try and get that day before weighing for you.
Yeah,
so you can experiment and see whether you can refuel and you've got the energy to complete those extra 2 rounds.
Yeah, because it's going to be a big slog. It will be a big push from where I was, like you say, to where I'm trying to get to. For any athlete, if they're trying to boil themselves down to get to a weight.
Boxing's the craziest sport, mate. You're expected to perform at your best on the least amount of fuel intake. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a crazy sport, isn't it? But so it's just one of the things, right? You've got to do it. So we're going to do it.
Like I said, I know what's your record now. I think you're 6-4-1. But the losses that you've come with, last time out was against Michael King, who should have been fighting on our show in September against Willie Goldie Galloway, who's the Central Area Light Middleweight champion now. Yeah. And I think they were going to make that for an eliminator for the English.
Right.
So he was a good level fighter. Obviously, Moorcroft just fought in an eliminator for the English again, at the weight above again, light middleweight. So you've took gambles. And I remember saying to you before the Moorcroft fight, all you had to do in that fight to win, even if you lost, was win a couple of rounds. Yeah. And going into that 5th round, I think you might have done that.
It was tight, mate. It was tight. I don't know. There's no point in saying this.
Yeah, but this is why you've got the confidence to continue, haven't you?
Because I know I've proved that I can mix it with these boys. Like you just said, he fought for an English title eliminator at welterweight. He won that, and now he's fought for it and drawn against a brilliant opponent in Dom Hunt. So, and he's. I remember sparring him in here, and he's non-stop. He's relentless.
He's Dom Hunt.
So he's a brilliant engine. I've proved I can mix it with these boys.
Well, you have, because you've also beat a couple of kids who were unbeaten. Jake Goodwin, I think Jake might have just had a loss before you.
He did. I think
he was 6-1. Yeah. But before that, you'd beat Casey Brown, who I think was 4-0. These guys vastly more experienced than you. So, you've got reason to want to continue and find out how far you can go. But you're now going to try and find out at this new weight, which excites me. Yeah,
because like I say, if I can make it, not if I can make it, when I make it, 8-ounce gloves, smaller gloves, big frame at that weight, really big man at that weight. So
well, you weren't small at light middleweight, mate.
I weren't small at light middle, so if I perform at it, like you said, if I can get them day before weigh-ins and perform at it, then I believe no problem for a lot of people.
I reckon so. And also Southpaw as well, and that long range of yours. Yeah, because you've been in a lot of people wanted to use you just recently. Not often people want to spar Southpaws, but when you've got Southpaws, they need people like you. And you was working with a kid from Elite, because you go up there a lot, don't you? Sparring up there, and a kid, Jack Townsend. Yeah. He fought Mark Haffen, who's the #1 middleweight in Britain as an amateur, and you helped him prepare for that because Mark's a southpaw.
Yeah, he's a good operator as well. He was. We went up there. I didn't realise he had the fight until last week when the last spar I had with him. Yeah. Last week, and then he told me about it, and I said, "Oh, it makes sense why they set me up with him." Yeah. So how did he do?
He got stopped in the 2nd round, but it was always a big ask because even though they were both elite fighters, one was the #1 in the country, Mark had won the ABA title the year before, and not only is he a very good amateur boxer, he can bang, mate. When he won the final, the 7 fights that he had to win the finals in, progressing from the regional champion to the pre-quarters, to the quarter-finals, the semis and the final, he stopped 6 of the 7 opponents, mate. Right. So the kid could bang a little bit.
He can bang.
Listen, he did really well. He asked questions of Mark early on in the 1st round, and it was a close 1st round. I thought Mark had just edged it, and then the 2nd round he got his distance right, got his feet right, and managed to put some good shots together, and eventually the referee had to step in. But did himself proud, mate, and I like that, which is what I like about you, mate. you're not afraid to test yourself, mate.
Test
And
yourself.
that's what boxing's all about. It's not about
That's what life's all
getting
about, isn't it?
to 12-0 and retiring.
What's
It's
the
about
point?
it's about having a real boxing career, and whatever you say at the end of your career, you know you've had a proper one, mate.
Absolutely, mate. Like you've just said there, I know I've took fights against brilliant opponents. So, like you've just mentioned there, Moorcroft. What's his 25 fights in?
I think it was his 24th fight when against you.
So
25th. I'm not
so
sure.
I've took proper fights, and,
Yeah.
and I've come up short, but not by much.
No.
Not by much. So, yeah, like you say, we'll call it a day.
This is the beginning of the new you, the
This-
1.2.
This feels like 0-0.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, I know you can't change the record, but I feel like it's a plain slate. We can start again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited.
I was speaking to Ryan, your coach, and we was talking, and this is what you've missed out on.
Yeah.
But maybe all these gambles that you've took may be paying off now, because you're going into this fight with a guy that, yeah, we expect you to win, but you've got to win spectacular. You've got to be a very, very, very dominant. You can't just win 40-36 and scrape, but you've got to be dominant, mate. You've got to go in there and make a statement. And
Absolutely.
you know, it's one of those where he's got to get out of the fight at the end of the 4 rounds and go, bloody hell, that was hard work, that was hard work.
Yeah.
You can't afford a 39-37. It's got to be clear. It's got to be clear. And anything better than that, well, that's wonderful. But you know,
It's got to be clinical. You're right. It's got to be clinical.
Do you like that pressure?
Yeah. I put it on myself. That's the only pressure in the world. Is the pressure you put on
But this
yourself.
is real pressure now, because the other times when you got in with those guys, you didn't know what to expect, but you knew you were getting with guys that were ranked massively above you.
Yeah.
You know, Mark King, I think, even though he'd lost his first 2 fights, he was on a roll of 6 wins on the bounce, or 5 wins on the bounce, and was making a lot of noise down south, and we're all talking about him highly because he was sparring the likes of Conor Benn and you know, all these guys, and they're all saying this is the kid to watch out for. So realistically, you've had it tough, and now we're taking you back to make sure you've got the confidence to go forward and in 2025 become that area champion.
Absolutely, mate. That's the plan.
I like that plan.
You like that?
I like that plan, mate. And you're smiling. I think you might like it as well.
I do. I like that plan.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the focus.
Right.
So,
well, I'm going to see you down there on the 22nd, and hopefully be chatting to you, and someone will be saying win number 7.
Absolutely.
Stoppage number 2.
Correct.
Rhys, take care, mate.
I do.
Bye.
For all boxing info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.